Amara often found herself caught between the village's essence and its expectations. As the sun dipped behind the hills, casting a golden glow over the cottages, the air would fill with the rich aromas of the evening meals being prepared. Laughter erupted from houses adorned with blooming flowers, as families gathered around tables laden with wholesome dishes. Amid this culinary celebration, Amara stood out, both cherished and scrutinized, known for her unmatched skill, yet distinct for her graceful figure, so unlike the other hardy women whose ample shapes reflected years of indulging in the village's bounty. Her hands moved effortlessly through the vibrant ingredients laid before her. She often sought solace in her modest kitchen, shunned the festive gatherings, and went about her culinary adventures with an undeniable passion that transcended the village's traditional feasting. While her neighbors prepared dishes steeped in cream and butter, Amara experimented with flavors that spoke more to her inner creativity than conformity. The sounds of chopping vegetables became her melody, and the simmering pots her orchestra, crafting symphonies that whispered of fresh herbs and spices, celebrating the essence of their land without an excess of richness. One chilly afternoon, with frost beginning to cling to the edges of the village, Amara received a visitor. It was Lena, a plump woman fancied for her indulgent recipes and the warmth she willingly offered at her doorway. "Amara, why do you not join us for the winter feast?" she inquired, her brows knitted together in concern. "Your skills could add such a splendid touch." Amara smiled gently, brushing a lock of hair behind her ear. "I appreciate your kind words, Lena, but my heart lies in creating something different. You all celebrate the bounty with such spirit, and I prefer to weave tales of simplicity through taste." Lena's expression shifted, comprehension dawning. "You want to show that there's beauty in lightness too, don't you?" Amara nodded, feeling the weight of her choice, a path less traveled yet deeply fulfilling. She was determined to demonstrate that culinary artistry didn't require extravagance. That night, as the moon peeked through the clouds, faint sounds of celebration reached Amara's ears. The village was alive with chatter, and she, in her humble retreat, crafted a dish that would embody her spirit. With each slice, dice, and stir, she conjured a dish of delicate, herb-infused porridge, brightened with roasted butternut squash and topped with pistachios. She envisioned it gracing the village table, a testament to balance. When she finally decided to present her creation at the feast, the reaction was as anticipated. Curiosity intermingled with surprise. As she placed her dish amidst the hearty casseroles and golden breads, whispers rippled through the attendees. Would her offering stand up to the opulence they were accustomed to? The first spoonful was met with silent hesitation before a chorus of delighted exclamations resonated through the hall. Amara's heart swelled as she watched their faces illuminate with each taste, realizing that tradition did not need to shackle creativity. Instead, it could foster a new appreciation for the diverse shades of flavor that life had to offer. In that moment, she understood that acceptance bloomed not just from appearance, but from the courage to share a piece of one's soul through cooking. In the heart of the village, the sun cast a warm golden light that danced upon the earth, infusing life into the vibrant colors of the gardens and the cheerful chatter of the villagers. Amara stood at her stove, the scent of herbs and spices swirling around her as she prepared for the upcoming harvest festival. Unlike the usual hustle and bustle surrounding the event, her culinary approach felt like a quiet revolution, one that she embraced wholeheartedly. The laughter and camaraderie of her fellow villagers echoed from the gathering place, yet her heart was pulled towards her latest creation. As she stirred the pot, a medley of quinoa, sweet potatoes, and roasted vegetables caught her eye. Each ingredient spoke to her desire for balance, a mantra she had lived by since she donned her apron with pride. In contrast to the heavy comfort food preferred by many, her dishes were woven with threads of nutrition, showcasing vibrant colors and invigorating flavors. Amara chose to showcase the beauty of nature's bounty, believing that food could be both delightful and nurturing. Her passion gained attention. Neighbors would peek into her window, drawn by the intoxicating aromas wafting through the air. One by one, they began to gather at her hearth, drawn not only by the promise of a meal, but by her warm smile and infectious enthusiasm. With each gathering, she shared not just dishes, but stories, of her mother's recipes twisted with a modern flair, of forgotten ingredients revived from the Kai, depths of memory. Amara explained her vision while she cooked, demonstrating how simple, thoughtfully prepared meals could awaken the senses and fortify the body. However, as praise flooded in, a thread of unease danced beneath Amara's confidence. She noticed the subtle glances exchanged among the other women. Their conversations would still gravitate toward conventional ideas of beauty and femininity. They complimented her dishes, yet a hint of skepticism mirrored their expressions, a silent challenge that questioned the place of a woman who dared to defy norms in both culinary choices and her physical appearance. While food became her canvas, Amara felt the weight of expectation press against her. Driven to create dishes that brought joy and sustenance, she remained steadfast. Each meal presented a chance for connection, a moment to inspire those around her to think differently about their plates and their bodies. Amara introduced vegetables that often lay neglected in the fields, encouraging her neighbors to experiment with flavors they had yet to celebrate. As her offerings blossomed, so did her impact. She nurtured a newfound curiosity among the villagers, sparking interest in gardens and home-baked bread. With each festival, as laughter and friendliness mingled in the air, Amara transformed the village gatherings from mere feasts to an exploration of culture and health. But beneath her radiant exterior, a reminder echoed in the quiet corners of her mind, a promise she made to herself to cherish her own identity, a vow to uphold her unique path in the midst of conformity as she poured her heart and soul into every dish. This, she realized, was not merely about food. It was about carving a space where authenticity could thrive, even in a world that often sought to dictate otherwise. As the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in hues of red and gold, the village bustled with a renewed sense of purpose. The air was thick with the tantalizing aroma of spices and roasted meats as the preparations for the grand feast reached their zenith. Amara stood at the edge of the village square, unease gnawing at her as she watched her friends and neighbors scurry about, each consumed by their own culinary ambitions. Laughter echoed, and voices rose in a chorus of excitement. Yet to Amara, the gleam in their eyes felt more like a flame of greed than joy. The merchant, a rotund man with a lively demeanor, regaled the villagers with tales of extravagant banquets held in far-off lands where sumptuous dishes were lavished upon guests without restraint. His words painted a picture so vivid that the villagers found themselves lost in dreams of culinary grandeur. He spoke of spices that could heal the body and fire up the soul, and cake layered with cream more delicate than clouds. With every tale, the villagers sunk deeper into indulgence, fanning the flames of competition sparked by the merchant's bold proclamation, "Let the best dish be crowned, the glory of the feast." It was not long before the spirit of rivalry took root. Each household became a miniature culinary battleground, as friends and neighbors exchanged knowing glances, determined to outshine one another. Divided into unofficial teams, they toiled over fantastical recipes, many of which Amara had never even seen before. She observed as her friend Lila struggled to perfect a pastry filled with ingredients from beyond the valley, while another neighbor, Jonas, attempted to concoct a savory stew that boasted exotic herbs and meats. Amara could see the toll this obsession was taking. The laughter around her felt heavy, laden with the weight of unspoken challenges. She noticed Lila's cheeks growing rounder, her energy spent on countless hours in the kitchen rather than in vibrant conversations over the communal well. The village, once known for its simple but hearty meals, was morphing into an arena where every dish told a story of excess, each celebration overshadowed by the quest for glory. One night, as the tables groaned under the weight of extravagant dishes, their sparkle almost blinding under the flickering torchlight, Amara felt a deeper pang of regret. The colors of the food dazzled the eye. Golden pastries glazed with honey, vibrant salads bursting with unfamiliar fruits, and towering cakes that seemed to defy gravity. Yet, for every lavish plate, she witnessed friends pushing their limits, their laughter tinged with the strain of overindulgence. "Who will bring home the title of the greatest cook?" the merchant had roared, a glint of mischief dancing in his eyes. That question had ignited a competition that siphoned away the warmth of the simple meals they had once shared. Amara's heart sank as she realized that the true essence of their community, their bonds forged over shared meals, the stories exchanged over simple bread and soup, were now drifting away, overshadowed by this new culture of overconsumption. Her resolve began to form like a small ember in the darkness, a desire to rekindle the spirit of the village, to remind her neighbors that satisfaction did not always stem from lavish meals, but from the love and connections forged around shared experiences. With the sun casting golden rays through the tall trees, Amara set up her modest kitchen in the community hall. The scent of fresh herbs and ripe vegetables filled the air. Over the next few days, she gathered the local women, nimbly navigating the delicate balance of tradition and change. The excitement was palpable, but so was the resistance. Many of the women had spent their lives in the kitchen perfecting family recipes, a lineage passed down through generations, and the thought of altering these had left them skeptical. A palpable silence lingered in the air as they took their seats, eyes narrowed with uncertainty. Amara understood their hesitations. It was a clash of generations, an age-old struggle between the old and the new. Yet, she aimed to show them that change didn't have to mean abandoning their roots. As she unveiled a colorful array of vibrant ingredients, she began by sharing snippets of her own story. How, despite her love for traditional dishes, she had faced health challenges that led her on a quest for balance, a culinary adventure steeped in both innovation and respect for heritage. Slowly, the hesitations began to fade as the women listened, their expressions shifting from skepticism to intrigue. Amara invited them to share their own cherished recipes, encouraging discussions about the flavors, textures, and memories associated with each dish. Laughter erupted when one woman recounted her mishaps in the kitchen, a bonding moment triggering shared experiences. Inspired, the women set aside their hesitations and began to embrace the possibility of weaving modern elements into their beloved traditions. As they stood side by side, chopping, stirring, and tasting, something remarkable began to happen. Amara introduced them to quinoa, a hearty grain packed with protein, explaining how it could seamlessly substitute their usual rice. They were reluctant at first, uncertain of its flavor, but Amara's enthusiasm was infectious. Together, they experimented, folding in colorful vegetables and a drizzle of citrus, and amid the sounds of sizzling skillets and cheerful chatter, something clicked. The first taste was met with raised eyebrows, smiles blossoming, and a chorus of delight echoed through the hall. As the workshop progressed, Amara guided them in creating a vibrant salad bursting with flavors, combining sweet fruits with savory nuts, drizzled with a zesty dressing. The women, once hesitant, were now imbuing their own twists and ingredients into the mix, a tangible representation of their evolving minds. The hesitance had been replaced with curiosity, and what started as skepticism transformed into an animated experiment of flavors. With each dish they prepared, the walls they had built around their food began to crumble. It was more than just the dishes. It was about opening hearts and minds. They found joy in the act of cooking together, bound by the collective experience of creating something new. The kitchen buzzed with camaraderie, stories intertwined just like the flavors coming together in their dishes. By the end of the workshop, Amara could see the glimmers of change reflected in their eyes. The once guarded women began to envision a future where traditional food could coexist with new flavors and techniques. It was the beginnings of a revolution, seeded in the joy of collaboration and understanding, a tapestry of culinary exploration woven together by shared laughter, newfound friendships, and the promise of healthier, delicious meals ahead. As the weeks rolled into months, the wave of transformation within the village gained momentum, creating ripples that touched every corner of their lives. The sun-kissed gardens burst with vibrant green, each plant nourished by the enthusiasm of women who had begun to see food not only as nourishment, but as a canvas for creativity and connection. Amara, a guiding light through this journey, encouraged her friends to share recipes passed down through generations, infusing them with modern twists that embraced balance and flavor. The heart of the village felt alive again, each kitchen echoing with laughter and the clinking of pots. These workshops had evolved into gatherings of unwavering support and kinship. Women who had once exchanged polite nods in passing were now sharing soulful stories over bubbling pots of wholesome stew, their vulnerabilities unraveling in the steamy air. Hazel, known for her exquisite pastry skills, opened up about her struggles with self-esteem, revealing how the pressure to meet external standards weighed heavily on her spirit. It was in that moment of vulnerability that other women shared their own insecurities, shedding the burdens that had long lived in silence. In these gatherings, Amara became a catalyst for embracing individuality. With each encouraging word, she illuminated a path for her friends to walk in their own light, reminding them that beauty thrived in diversity. She launched the idea of a unity table, where villagers would contribute dishes representing their unique heritage, each plate reflecting their culinary roots. When the day of the first unity table arrived, the village square transformed into a vibrant display of colors and aromas, a potpourri of spices and stories. As they laid out the spread, their laughter rang loudly, welcoming everyone into a shared celebration of life. Festooned with flowers and cheerful decorations, the table grew as more villagers contributed their specialties, each dish telling a story, weaving together the fabric of their diverse lives. The exchange of recipes became more than just culinary instruction. It was a commitment to honor their past while building a collective future. Gradually, the spirit of the village ignited, a chosen path towards health that defied the shadows of stigma. Women who once approached the topic of nutrition with trepidation were now at the forefront, advocating for balance over deprivation. Children, once tethered to screens, now raced in the lush meadows, fueled not just by wholesome food, but also by the unyielding support present in their homes. As the villagers embraced this newfound vitality, the sense of collective empowerment permeated the air, igniting a deep-seated respect for one another. They learned rather quickly that change was not rooted in a solitary endeavor, but flourished through unity. They nurtured each other's growth, becoming teachers and learners alike, their hearts swelling with pride for every small victory, whether it be a successful recipe or a courageous confession. The village, once burdened by conformity, now thrived as a vibrant tapestry of identities. Each woman blossomed into her own version of beauty, a reflection of resilience and courage. Amara stood, slightly apart from the blossoming scene, watching with joy as the village embraced something profound. The understanding that true transformation stems from the courage to connect, celebrate, and love oneself and each other. As the seasons shifted, the village pulsed with life, a vibrant tapestry woven from the threads of Amara's teachings. The air was fragrant with wildflowers in spring and thick with the earthy scent of freshly harvested grains in autumn. Each season birthed its own celebrations, and the villagers embraced these moments with an exuberance that echoed the spirit of Amara herself. They danced through the seasons, their laughter ringing clear like the images sketched in their memories. Years turned into decades, and the gardens once tended by Amara flourished under the care of her pupils. The crops were not merely sustenance, but an embodiment of the community's joyous bond. Every child knew the importance of planting seeds, both in the ground and in the hearts of their fellow villagers. This nurturing extended beyond cultivation. It seeped into their gatherings, where stories danced on the tongues of elder women like tender flames, casting warmth upon the younger generations eager to absorb their wisdom. Amara's knowledge spread like ripples on a still pond, touching even the most distant corners of the village. She encouraged her students to explore natural remedies, using the herbs and flowers that adorned their land. Together, they concocted tinctures and balms that echoed the earth's treasures, treating ailments with a delicate balance of nature and care. The healing gardens she had nurtured became sacred spaces for reflection and respite, a sanctuary where hands joined in pursuit of greater understanding. Creativity blossomed alongside health. Art was no longer confined to mere aesthetics, but became an expression of cultural pride and unity. The women painted murals that depicted their shared stories, capturing the essence of their community within vibrant hues. Each brushstroke resonated with the strength that had come to define them, not through superficial standards, but through shared experiences and vulnerabilities. They crafted pottery and woven textiles, piece by piece manifesting the beauty of collaboration, each creation a testament to their mutual support. Evenings were dedicated to communal feasts, where the villagers gathered to share dishes infused with love and laughter. Recipes were passed down like the most treasured of heirlooms, each secret ingredient a whisper of heritage. Conversations flowed as freely as the honey mead, under the starlit expanse, hearts connecting with every bite and laugh. These meals weren't mere forms of sustenance, they were a celebration of life itself, an affirmation of their collective journey towards wellness. Amara, witnessing this transformation, felt an immense pride swell within her. She recognized that her role had shifted from that of a guide to that of a proud observer. The village had not only absorbed her teachings, but had made them their own, breathing life into her legacy until it pulsed with insatiable vitality. In her slender form, now shaded by the passing years, Amara epitomized the very essence of resilience, illuminating the path forward with her enduring spirit. With each heart she touched, she found solace, knowing that the seeds of wellness she had sown would continue to flourish long after her own footsteps faded from the earth.